Hi friends, welcome back. It is time to harvest my winter squash. I have several different types of pumpkins growing. I have an heirloom that is growing that is like a Seminal pumpkin, and those grow humongous like this size, and the other one only got about this size. I have several other ones that are hiding in between here. I did my Three Sisters garden at the end there, and those in there only got about this big. So these are not cultivars, so these are all different types of pumpkins that I've been growing. My grandma has been growing them for a long time, and I just get seeds from her, and that's what I've been growing for the last 3 to 4 years. This pumpkin is hiding in between the okra, which I need to harvest today and get rid of. This is the biggest one of the season, and it looks like it's ready because it's already turning yellow, a little bit of orange, and I'm ready to cut it. So you will be my witness. Y'all will be my witness here in the cutting ceremony. I planted this pumpkin as a seed in May of this year, and it grew all the way from that corner. It grew about 20 feet, and then it produced this big old pumpkin right over here. Oh my goodness. This is the biggest and most heavy pumpkin I've ever grown in my life. I'm gonna have to weigh it and tell you guys, but it's got to be more than 20 pounds. It is so heavy. Oh, look at next to my head. Is that ridiculous or what? So this is a Seminal pumpkin. It's a Salvadorian heirloom pumpkin, and what we do in El Salvador is that we cut them into chunks about this size chunks, and then we put them in a big old pot, and then we add piloncillo, which is molasses, hard rock candy, and then we boil that for a couple of hours on an open fire, and then the meat of the pumpkin turns very caramelized and tender and delicious, and then the rind is pretty hard, so then you take that rind and you put it into your mouth, you bite into the meat, and then you slide out the little rind, and it's so tasty. That is about the only way we eat these pumpkins in El Salvador. I'm gonna share half of this with my mom. She's gonna do what she's gonna do with it. I think I'll probably cook a quarter of it the traditional way with the piloncillo, and then I will cook the rest in the oven, and I will put it into Ziploc bags and save it as a pumpkin puree. And I will take that puree and make cookies and breads and other tasty stuff with it. I am so proud of this pumpkin. It's so big, and this is about the only this was the biggest one of the season, and I'm so proud of it. Right over here I have another pumpkin growing. This one is about half the size of the other one. So let's cut it and see what happens. When harvesting a pumpkin, you want to leave as much stem as you can. So I like to leave at least 1.5 inches, 2 inches. If you crack here, you might injure the rind, and then it won't store as well. This one will probably last 3 to 4 months in my basement. Here it is. This one's a little bit more moderate. I believe this one may be like 8 pounds. Over here, I have 2 pumpkins growing on this fence here. I like to put a little bit of mesh on the fence line and grow all my pumpkins on the fence line. That way they don't get in the way of growing other things in the ground. Look at this beautiful pumpkin. It's gonna be delicious. And here's another one. Just another pretty pumpkin. These are both from the same plant. And look at the difference in size and color. And they're from the same plant. So when I say they're Seminal pumpkins and I don't really know the variety, the same plant can produce different looking pumpkins. In the spring, I noticed that a pumpkin was growing in my compost pile right over here. And I was like, this is perfect because it can grow right next to the fence line here. And guess what? This one turned out to be a North Georgia candy roaster. And look at that pumpkin right there, or that squash. And it produced 2 of them, and I have another one right over here. So it is time to take them inside because it's getting cold, and it is time to harvest them. I love this time of year because it is the time when I get to harvest all of my hard labor. I put in so much time in the spring and the summer, and you don't get to harvest as much as the large fruits during the summer. You get to harvest them right now in the fall. So yesterday I harvested my corn, today I'm harvesting squash, and I still have to harvest all of the cowpeas and the long beans that I have growing here. They're all drying. I also have to harvest my taro, my sweet potatoes. So there's a lot more to harvest in the garden right now. So exciting. Let's harvest that North Georgia candy roaster that is hiding inside the compost pile. It is barely hanging. Look at this. This is so crazy. This is probably 24 inches long and it probably weighs 12 pounds. Super cool. And we have another one right here. Check this out. Last year I grew 5 of these plants and I had like 20 of these last year. So this year I decided to plant only 2 of them. And I said, I had too many last year, I'm just gonna plant 2 of them. Guess what? Those 2 plants that I planted gave up with the vine borers. They killed them. And the only plant that I'm getting to harvest from is the volunteer that came out of that compost pile. So the volunteers always do better for me. So let some of those plants grow out. So let some of those volunteers grow out and see what they do for you. This is a beautiful pumpkin that I'll be eating all winter long. This one right here, the North Georgia Candy Roaster, it's a perfect winter squash. I have 1 left in my pantry from last year, and I harvested that in October of last year. So it's been in there for many months and it's still there. It is probably a little bit pithy, but it's still keeping, so it is a perfect keeper. If you would like to buy some of my seeds, I have an Etsy shop that I share with my wife, and I'll put some of the seeds for this North Georgia Candy Roaster on my Etsy shop. You can find it by clicking on the link below in this video, and you can buy some of the seeds so you can grow them. This bed over here was my 3 sisters' garden, and I grew some pumpkins in here. The sun doesn't hit this bed as much as I would want it to, so the pumpkins I grew here are kind of small, but that's fine because they can be like personal size for cooking. So let's see what's in here. I only have a few small ones. These are kind of cute. I did harvest quite a few from this patch when they were young, and I ate them as summer squash. So that's why there's not that many in there. This is the pumpkin harvest that I have this year. I think I have in total, I have 9 decent sized pumpkins here, and I did harvest a few from here already, so I have more in the pantry. I definitely got a lot less pumpkins this year than I got last year. Like I said, the North Georgia Candy Roaster was a heavy producer last year, and I made the mistake of not planting 5 plants this year. So next year I'm gonna go back to 5 plants of the North Georgia Candy Roaster. I also want to do something called a honey nut or a small butternut squash. I want to grow some of those because those are more manageable. The North Georgia Candy Roaster is just so big and you have to deal with so much of the food, but it is tasty. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you are subscribed so you can watch the future videos that I make. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.